there's a question of my heart, you got it. It don't belong to anyone but you. Hey, if that's a question of my love.
Today, we're going to be talking about arguing.
Oh, yes. We know that a lot of people in a lot of relationships, they come in, they talk about how great it is. You hear all the good stories, all the lovey-dovey stuff, I guess is the word. But if you've been in a long-term relationship, like we have, it's been a while, and coming up on 18 years. And so what you'll realize is that it's not always easy. There are gonna be days where I get on her nerves. There's gonna be days where she gets on my nerves, and yeah.
A lot of days.
A lot of days for both of us. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
But argue me right now.
It's about to be an argument. And I think that it's healthy. I think that if someone is always consistently holding their tongue, it's just a matter of time before that releases in a whole magnified or unacceptable way, right? And so it's something we do talk to our kids about. I make it when we do have our arguments or spats or whatever you want to call them. It is something that we do communicate with our kids, because it isn't just affecting the two people that's in the relationship, it affects everyone around, right? And so there's lines we refuse to cross. We do have, we've set non-negotiables up from when we first began being together and everything of that sort. And I think that a lot of people miss out on that part. You think of all the good things you see on Facebook, social media in general, TikTok, Instagram, all those. And when you get in a relationship, you expect to have those things. But in reality, it's never gonna be that way. And if it is never an argument, somebody isn't giving their true self.
Yeah.
Because two people aren't identical. And so with two people not being identical, you genuinely find somebody who will disagree with this, and it may not be something that you're truly passionate about, right? Either it's not real, or you're not passionate. Because if you're not passionate about something, you won't debate it. And debating can sometimes turn into arguments.
And so there's a viral moment about there is a couple who say that they've never argued before, and they've been together, I think it's been about 3 years. So I was like, that's remarkable, right? I mean, but I think what they're saying is that they are expressing how they feel, but they are not taking it to a higher level. So they're not screaming at the top of their lungs or whatever. I mean, that's good for them. We hope to aspire to be that. We have our moments where we've been that. I mean, we have been effectively able to communicate with each other plenty of times, but there are times where, we gonna argue now. So do you want to talk about the non-negotiables, or you want to?
We can. Do you want to? We can do that. I think they're pretty aligned in an aspect, right?
What do you mean?
Like when you say during an argument?
Yeah, what's the non-negotiables?
Yeah, I think that a lot of our non-negotiables, I don't think it's ever been said, but one thing I've never done and never will do is call my wife outside of her name. I will never call her a prerogative name. Is that what it's called? Prerogative?
Prerogative?
No, it's not prerogative. Provocative. You know what I'm saying?
Please don't call me a prerogative.
I'm not gonna call her a prerogative or a provocative, and I'm not gonna call her outside of her name. We will dispute, we will argue, we will debate about certain things, but it's a certain level of respect that I have for her, and I will never call her outside of her name. I feel like that's a non-negotiable that hadn't necessarily been said. Where on the vice versa, it's one specific word that is.
I was wondering if you was going.
Yes, it's one specific word that I'm big on not being called, and that would be the B word. So that's my big. I'm not a fan of that word. I don't say the word genuinely, and so it's something that I find as the ultimate disrespectful word. And so I think that we have come to understand each other's non-negotiables, and we don't go there.
No.
I did. She has, and
I did.
But that also is where that communication come in at, right?
Yes.
And that's where I'm like, hey,
that was a lack of maturity. First of all, that was very long time. That was a long time ago.
15 years ago. So.
Yeah, that was like, and you gotta understand where we come from to understand where we're going and where we have progressed from, because just we're both from inner city communities. We definitely had a rough upbringing, so it's just it was just like when you argue with somebody, that word it was like my go-to. Like if I need to stab at a thing, like that's the word. Like, and obviously you don't mean it, but you're trying to get under somebody's skin. And the communication was very like, it seemed almost nonchalant, like.
And yes, and I'm a person who have learned to express myself more because I've never been an arguer, right? So I've never been one to argue. I shut down. I let me go ahead. I'm not about to argue with anybody. I'm gonna just separate myself from that situation, right? Yeah. And which is unhealthy. Let's be honest, right? Especially when it comes to your wife. And so with me just shutting down and she's trying to express herself and she's passionate and I'm acting like it can come off as if I'm just not giving, I'm not caring. And so, it came to a realization that she needed a response. If she's being passionate, she needs a response from her husband that says, I hear you at least. I understand where you're coming from. This is how I feel, and so on and so forth. And communication not being one of my strengths, mine is, I'm not arguing with you, right? And so she knew that it would get a response out of me.
That's an instant response.
And so she did it to get a response, and I got upset. I argued back. And she afterwards, once we communicate healthy, it came to an understanding that, okay, I can work on giving you responses, but what we can't do is go there. Yeah. And so,
and we learned this on our own, but we also had marriage counseling. So we were together 5 years before we got married, and so that helped us a lot as far as communicating, knowing.
Going into this is my strength, this ain't my strength. Yeah. So we did marriage counseling before we got married.
Yeah. So so that's how that worked. Like our communication was completely different. Like our ways of communicating, I have to say whatever it takes to get my point across, and I get my point across by shutting you down. So like, it was just a complete clash. Like, I remember I remember like after we got into it, and another non-negotiable is we don't put our hands on each other.
Oh yes,
That's not a thing.
No physical violence whatsoever
No.
by either party. I'm calling the law. I'm calling them folks now.
Yeah, so we both experienced that growing up, and I knew for sure I was never going to go through any of that. It was a huge part of my upbringing as far as like my understanding. I mean, it didn't continuously happen throughout my whole childhood, but it's something that stayed with me for so long, and I just knew I'm never I'm not dealing with that. And no woman should or man. So if you're in a relationship like that, you have to seek help or find a way out, because that is just something that I'm very passionate about. My granny passed away from domestic violence. So I just feel like that's an absolute non-negotiable. We shouldn't be putting our hands on each other. If it has to get to that space, we don't need to be together, period.
And I know my mother used to always tell me, she just put it like constantly put into our thought process, me and my younger brother, is you don't put your hand on a woman. The only time it would even be acceptable is if your life's in danger. And my mother dealt with it as well. With my father, and that's how they ended up being apart from each other because of that. She's big on not standing for that either. And sometimes people think they're in love, but love doesn't leave marks, physical marks. And so that was something that was constantly put in my head, and she always kept it open with me of what she went through in life. And then falling in love and then having daughters, it made me have to I made myself have an understanding that I refuse to do anything to my wife that I wouldn't want a man to do to my daughters when they're adults. And also having sons, feeling like I need to make sure that they understand what it looks like to be a man and how to carry yourself with the person that you say you love. And so you have to be intentional in your thought processes of that.
Definitely. And so I wanted to do a little small story time of a time where we would argue. This would happen pretty much a majority of arguments.
Yes, every argument, because we were never big like arguing constantly. We weren't that toxic couple.
No.
But once every other month, few months or whatever, when it would become an argument.
And what would we argue about? Like
usually my communication. 9 times out of 10 is me not communicating properly, or me not communicating at all. Right? That has always been a big thing for Nay. Is we gotta talk. We gotta communicate. You gotta do better at communication. All the way into that 5 years with marriage counselor, right? And you would think that would be a breaking point, right? But I think that a lot of times, it wasn't that I didn't talk in general. I've always been, I don't know. I guess I would say that it's not that I wouldn't always talk. It's that when I am going through emotions, I don't want to express them. I just let me sit in my, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna be, you ain't gonna see it typically. She feels it. She has always felt it. And I think that's one of the biggest things that that made me fall in love, was that she could feel it. Even when other people couldn't see it, I wasn't saying it, she just felt it. And when she felt it, she wanted to be there. And me, I'm like, in my life, I was the oldest child, so I didn't have somebody to go to. I just felt like that's what I did. I shut down. And so the arguments would start because honestly, it hurt her having to see me just sitting in it. And so it would get there, and that's part of that unhealthiness of holding all that stuff in, is that when we would finally get, she would just constantly be telling me, and I'm like, and then I would just be like, just leave me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm raising my voice, and now she like, whoa, and now she's defensive, and so now her fight or flight, there's no flight. This lady, it ain't no flight in my wife. It's fight through and through, like, and it's not physical. It's just like, we're gonna address it. She attacks her issues.
Yeah,
When
I
she
don't
get
like
an
things
issue,
just sitting on me, because it's, I don't know how people do that. Like they going through something and then it just sits in their system. Like for me, I guess I gotta get that off of me. I don't like sitting in stuff. I think it's not good for my mental at all. And I think the opposite for you, like the communication feels like it's not healthy for you. It don't feel good to you.
yeah, I don't want, I'm trying to bury it. I don't want to
Yeah.
express, I don't want it in the world around me. I'm just like, get in there.
Yeah, so like if we were arguing and he would love to take his stuff to his mama's house.
I
Like-
wouldn't take my stuff to my
No,
mom.
wait. The way
I
it
wouldn't.
works. Okay, so we argue, and I'm like, you talking about some like, play the scenario out. Like, you grabbing all your stuff. I'm like, get the out, right? Right? Is that how you used to do?
You didn't used to ever just say get out.
Oh, I'm sure I did.
You would just be like,
I'm
I would
pretty sure.
literally be like, I don't know.
I mean, we did it so many times. I'm sure at some point I get the out because I knew you was about to go. Like you had got a pattern where you were like,
No, at first it would be like, it would be because I guess that comes with the backstory of how we ended up moving in together and all that stuff. But like, it's always been us, right? It's always just been us. I'm not from here. I mean, I got my mother here, but it's not anything other than that. And so I would just be packing up, and at first she would just be like, it was always like, so you just leaving?
yeah. In the
See,
beginning,
it
it was
was-
like, so, well, it depended on the situation.
Yeah.
It
like,
depended because sometimes I would say,
go ahead and run away. Yeah, or
I
something
don't
like
remember
that.
saying no, run away.
Yeah,
That don't sound like
you
me.
say you can't run away from the. You're usually gonna run away from the situation.
Yeah,
something like
I would
that.
say that, but then there was some times where I did not care, and I was like, get out, get out.
Her thing was
Why
she
are
would.
you not remembering this?
I remember this like it was yesterday. She would antagonize me as I'm packing. I don't know why you putting all that stuff up. When you come back, I'm not helping you unpack it.
No, there was various different
Yeah.
ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I remember saying, get the out
Okay.
now, screaming crazy. Then there were times where, it could be
Okay,
it could be a different variations of all of it at
different things,
once.
yeah,
Like I could be going through several emotions while you're packing this stuff.
She would be screaming, "Get out!" Then she'd be like, "Why you leaving?" And then she'll be
Yeah, I
like, "You
mean-
gonna unpack it?" It would be,
Yes,
it was very
it would
emotional.
Be that. It would be from, well, I don't care, get out. Why you leaving me crying? And then I don't think I've ever helped you pack your stuff.
No,
No, I'm not helping you pack stuff. Like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, you can pack it yourself. But what I used to get so tired of is he would come back the same day. It would never be more than
it would.
A night.
It would. I don't know if it's ever been overnight.
okay.
I don't think I ever left and not came back that night. I don't. Yeah, I don't think that has
So
ever
he would
happened.
take all this stuff for him. I'm
Now,
like,
mind you, this is This is our first 3-4 years.
Yes.
Because once we got into that 5 year and then getting married and stuff like that, we
Yeah, that
came
wasn't-
with an understanding that we do this together. We don't
Yeah, you
run
don't
from the
take that
situation.
to
Now I will
another
go down to
person's
the man
house.
cave. Yeah, we don't
No.
it's us, right? Me and her, we put this vow together. We did this oath in front of God, and we do this together. Now we may have to separate. I go downstairs to the man cave, you know what I'm saying? But you don't go into a situation where 9 times out of 10 I may be wrong, but all my mother or my little brother seeing is me coming back with bags. And we don't want to put, one thing we don't ever do is make the other one look bad in front of people.
No, we don't do that.
Like
Not
anything
anymore.
weird. Yeah. Cause but at first it was get that bag and go in.
Yeah.
But now it's well, go ahead. You want to keep going with the bags?
Well,
Packing
we
my
gotta
bags?
finish telling the story.
What story?
So the bags would like okay. I just would say at this point, look, you're gonna take. I mean, he's grabbing things, just throwing them in bags. Mind you, my house stays very clean, so you're unfolding clothes that's been folded. You have all these things that you're just grabbing, throwing in bags. I mean, you shipping it to the car like you about to be gone forever. And then I just got to the point where I was like, if you're gonna do that, just make sure you put it back when you get back. Like, make sure you put it exactly how it was when you left, and make sure it's exactly how it was. Because don't have it sitting in the living room or in the room for 2 or 3 days. Like, that was all I asked, because I knew at that point he's coming right back. So
But
it's a
that's-
waste of time.
And that's the thing, though, is that people like if you've been in that situation, fellas, there's nothing worse than somebody saying, "Now you know your ass about to be back." Now why are you doing this? And you over here like, "I ain't coming back. I'm done." And she like, "Well, when you come back, make sure you put it back the way it was." And you like,
And
you
I'm
like,
still
you
kinda-
trying to be
yeah.
stubborn,
Yeah.
and your pride, and that's the big thing is pride.
And that's the thing, like, wow, it just made me think you were trying to escape once again, like you're trying to run away from the issue. And so once we done ran out of words, it's like, okay, I ain't got nothing else to say. I'm just leaving. Like I don't want to deal with this. And my approach was horrible as well. Like you can't just approach somebody like that and expect them to respond the way you want them to respond. So yeah, that's not a thing anymore. I'm so happy that we don't even leave the house anymore when we argue. Like we're in the same bed arguing. Like just go to bed arguing. I mean, it's just we don't see the point of leaving or telling people what we got going on because we're not going anywhere. Like we come to the realization after this long. I mean, unless it's something very traumatic, we argue about the same stuff pretty much. There's nothing new that we argue about. So there's no point of leaving or telling people. They probably sick of the same story. Like we when you've been together that long, nobody even cares or believes that you're leaving. So
Yeah.
and it's just we argue way less now. Like we barely argue.
Yeah, it's far and in between.
And I'm happy that we don't have a household that just argues all the time because that is such a toxic environment for your family. We don't argue that well, so
Yeah, we're not
I
really
mean,
great at
we're
it.
not great.
And another thing is that we've learned that pride isn't something that we can have with each other.
Yeah.
If this is ever going to work, you have to be open and you have to be willing to put your pride aside. Because those first 3-4 years, that's what it is. You're proud, right? You're too proud to be wrong. You're too proud to lose. You're too proud to, and all these things. And then I would get to my mama's house, and it wouldn't necessarily be her. It wouldn't necessarily be me. But one of us were gonna put our pride aside, and we were gonna reach out, even if it was a simple text that just says, "Look, I'm sorry. We need to talk about this." And let's be for real. I wasn't trying to be at my mama's house, so I went ahead and came back so we could talk about it. But
It's crazy how it's like after about 5 minutes after the argument, like you leaving, you're like, dang, he really gone. Like you instantly feel like that was stupid. Why didn't we just try to talk it out a little bit better? Like, cause now we got to go through this whole process of trying to figure out when we gonna start talking again. Like we know we gonna talk again.
Yeah.
So why are we prolonging this situation? Especially if we had a day off of work together. We had time where we could actually spend time, and we wasting time arguing about something that really could be patched up. But we decided, our pride is bigger, so we gonna just wait. Like,
And now I do want to let everybody know I believe that there's always a pivotal point in everyone's relationship where you're going to need that one person. So keep healthy people in your life. And our pivotal point, it was my mother-in-law. I think it would have been it would have been that one time where we may not have figured it out, may not have worked it out. It was probably our worst argument in our 18 years, and this was early 2009. The only reason I know is because she was pregnant with our oldest. And I think we were both content with being done. And my mother-in-law made me come, I was doing something. I think I was bringing her stuff. And my mother-in-law made me come in, sit down, and had us talk.
you always say that, but I don't remember
And
that.
yeah, because she was,
Where were we living at?
You went over there to,
Junior house?
mhm.
I don't remember us talking. But
Yeah, she made me come upstairs, and she made us talk, and she talked actually most of the time.
Who?
Your mama.
Oh.
And my mother-in-law, she just was telling us that we got to do this together. We about to have a child together. We wanted to act grown together, so we need to act grown together. So I'm in that ballpark. And pretty much told me I need to step up, right? Because let's be honest, I was, 19, 20 years old. I'm still young, I'm still a kid, and pretty much how I received it was that I need to act like a man if I was gonna be one. And we talked, and then I want to say that night, I don't know where we were living. That night I came and picked you up. We went and got something to eat. We talked. We sat in the car, ate and talked. You'll get a getting to know us. You'll get a understanding that our most passionate moments is when we sit in the car and talk. That's our best dates. That's how we started, and that's just been where we've been able to be comfortable. Where you can tune the world out and just be present. And I think that in that pivotal moment, that saved and made all of this. And
the argument was about, I can't remember exactly what we argued about, but I know that we argued, and it was about me saying that I was gonna be a single mom, right?
Yeah, something in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And one thing about me is, like, in my head, I had envisioned my life when I was a kid. I wanted something healthy, right? I grew up in chaos. So in my head, what I envisioned was having a wife, having kids, having a home, going to, like, most people are like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. And this vision, how I envisioned it was going to work. I didn't know what that work was, but going to work, coming home to my wife, my kids, this and that. And so the moment I found out my oldest was gonna be, I guess, I immediately was in love, right? I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl. I just knew that was my baby. And so
You just knew you was having a junior.
yes, in my head, I was having a junior. And she turned out to be a young lady who is not a junior. And so I think that in that argument, it was in the aspect of, like, just me not being able to be in her life or something of that sort.
Yeah, because I mean, in our generations and our generations before us, I didn't see a lot of marriage. I didn't see a lot of people stay together.
Yeah.
Like, it was it was like, okay, we argue. I don't think I can deal with it, and I can just do this on my own. Like, I saw it be done a million times over, and I don't have to deal with this. And like, it was, I'll figure it out. And I guess he wasn't having that. Like, we're not about to.
Yeah, it was like, there is no me not being in my child's life. No, I think I knew I was having a daughter by then, because you were big pregnant.
Okay.
And I was just like, there's no way I'm not gonna be in my daughter's life. Like, and that was one of those deal breaking things, right? Just like me not being present in my children's life is one of those things. And so,
Like, that was the ultimate control for me. Like, oh, I got something on you now. I can tell you that you ain't gonna be in your child's life. And I know I'm talking in my mind. Like, I know this is not real. I know I want my boyfriend at the time to be in his child's life. Like, what? Who doesn't want that?
but
But
it was
that was like the
way
cut.
to get a response out
Yeah,
of it.
like, I
because
probably
it was
wouldn't
one
get
of
no
my
response.
shut down things. She wanted to go to mama's house, and I'm like, all right, I'll take you over there. And then as we're driving, she's arguing, and I'm just driving. And she's wanting a response. She wanted a response, and so she said something to get a response. And as you could tell, early on, it might have been kind of toxic.
Oh my God.
But it was also more love at all times than there was ever even an ounce of toxic.
Yeah, like,
It was
we had our moments.
outweighed by a million.
Yeah, we had instant, like, connection. So when you get to know somebody and under somebody that much, you're gonna argue eventually. Like, we're not perfect, and we're also not experts at this stuff. So
Especially then, we were kids. We were trying to figure it out, and we only going with what we
don't
knew.
know.
I mean, we still don't know, but I'm just saying then it was just when it was unhealthy. Well, not necessarily unhealthy, but when it was a lot more toxic. It was just what you've seen in the neighborhood or what you heard.
Yeah, it was just our
where-
experience. We had a lot of life experience as to what it looks like. I mean,
to have a healthy relationship.
yeah, like, actually in their house, like, actually get to see these people for real. Like, it looks good when you see people married, but we didn't have an idea of what that really looks like. Like, our parents weren't married, so that inner household effect, we didn't know what that looked like. And we weren't married either, so we didn't have that covenant, that shield from God. We didn't have that protection, so we didn't have the discernment. We didn't have a lot of things that come with marriage, and plus we were just really young and dumb. Like, it was our first time out of our mom's house, trying to figure life out, trying to figure how to pay bills, how to take care of a kid. I mean, the arguments were kids. That was the thing too. Like, we argued about kids.
Yeah, we had to learn each other's beliefs in parenting.
Yeah,
We had to understand what do you expect
yeah,
from our children? What do I expect from our children? What is unacceptable? Like, and having a girl first, she gonna talk to her mama say no, she gonna go to daddy. And daddy gonna be like, shit, you gotta make it happen. But then it came to an understanding that this is a partnership.
yeah.
When she get grown and gone, we still right here. And so
we learned to communicate first. Like, or if she say, hey, can I do this? Go ask your daddy.
or
Vice
go ask
versa.
your mama.
Yeah,
And,
we're not arguing about kid stuff, what y'all got going on.
and they know not, if I say no, not to go ask her. And if she say no, not to come ask me.
Yeah,
So it becomes understanding the partnership.
yeah. So just blending two lives as usual, trying to make it one, trying to figure out the kinks, and we've come a whole long way. We we definitely have learned a lot about each other and ourselves. And the thing that we ultimately come up with is the fact that once we get through arguing, we self-reflect on the things that we can do better, what we should be doing better to prevent it, because that's just not our habitat. We don't like chaos. We really don't. Like, we're very peaceful people. We don't bother people. We're really to ourselves. We don't like confusion or chaos. So our thoughts are always hey, how can we do better next time? Because arguing don't do anything for us. Like, I know I was a hothead, but I was only that because I'm seeking peace, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm trying to get all the kinks out so that we can come together, or not. But for me, my mental was like, okay, let me get some peace out of this. I don't want to argue just to argue and just go gossip about my arguing. You know what I'm saying? So,
And my biggest thing is that my whole life I had to be the peacemaker. So I held on to my stuff unhealthily. And I just made up another word. I'm out here making words up all day. Unhealthily. And so I pressed everything in, right? She lets everything out. And so we're looking for opposite things until we realize the strength of being able to balance that all out.
So that is our end, right? I feel like if y'all have any questions or if y'all going through anything similar, just leave comments. If you like the video, subscribe.
Hey.
Subscribe, man. We up to 12 now. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Well, it's a good hot 12.
12. So if y'all like the video, comment some things y'all want to know about us or some things y'all want to do like in the next video. But yeah, we're open, and yeah, that's all.
Hey, peace.